Hello and welcome to the Local Music Revolution. I will be your host for this show. I am Ogre. On this episode, I talked to Eric, the singer from Armed Assailant out of Fresno, California. We talk about how he got into the band, how they write as a band, the reception for their EP, using dust masks as stage props, and their promotional materials, which are DIY, people. Please excuse the audio. There is some background noise that I couldn't get out. I'm not gonna trash it because life is messy. Things get messy. For the most part, when Eric started to talk, everything kind of blended into the background and was kind of gone. There are a few parts where it pops up, but hey, we all have that. I'm pretty sure if you can listen to my recordings, you'll hear my air conditioner running or a dog barking in the background or one of the big rigs on the highway, honking his horn as loud as he can. So, sorry for the audio, but I thought this was a good interview, and I really wanted to share Armed Assailant with everybody. It did make things very interesting, trying to keep on point, especially when the noise did come up. But hey, we got through it, and I really dig what Armed Assailant is doing, so I'm really all for that. In any event, it was really fun talking to Eric about the band, and I really hope that I get to talk to the rest of them pretty soon, because it was a joy to learn about their band and to learn some of the inner workings of how they function. And we survived the interview, so here is the interview. This is Eric from Armed Assailant. All right, so we're here with Eric from Armed Assailant. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, man. How about yourself?
I'm here. I'm doing.
Right on.
I'm exhausted, but I'm doing. All right, so you are from Armed Assailant. Like
Yes,
I
sir.
was telling you before we started recording, there's not really much in the way of how you guys got together or how you met the rest of the band. So can you go into that real fast?
Yeah. Me and Kelly are rhythm guitarists. Me and her have been doing music off and on for a good couple solid years now. And we recently, just started playing Armed Assailant. She hit me up saying that they needed a singer, and I was a little reluctant at first. I was like, I guess, but maybe see how it goes, because they had one at the time. So I figured, hey, let's just see how that worked out. And so I just hung around with them a lot and, got to know the rest of the guys a little bit better. And they shortly became friends. So it didn't take very long for us all to get very friendly with each other. So, we just hung out a lot. And their singer wasn't really, making the practices normally. So I gave it a try, and they liked me, and we just kept on going from there. So, I just stuck around, just got the feel for it. And then I was like, hey, well, give me a try and see how it goes.
Nice. There's another Eric in the band. Have you ever been confused for him, or is there any cool stories about that?
Yeah, it's very confusing every single time, because people will ask us our names and stuff, and they'll be like, hey, my name's this, and we'll be like, oh, well, I'm Eric, and then my bass player would come up, and he's like, oh, Eric, and they're all, Eric, and Eric. I was like, yeah, it's confusing, but we like it, because we're like a team, and he's my rhythm section, so I get along with him, so we just we groove on that. We take advantage of it. We make little YouTube videos, or we make little videos for each show that's coming up, and
nice.
We'll say this is the Erics and stuff like that.
Nice, man. All right, so where did you guys record? I know you guys have a demo. I believe the release date was August 30th, 2014.
Yes, that was the EP release show. we had recorded with a friend of ours. He does a little recording studio himself called Dub Track Studios here in Fresno, California, and he was working on a record of his own for his own band, and I was like, hey, why don't you go ahead and pick me up and see if we can get Armed Assailant with a little EP going out there. So yeah, I was only in the band for a short couple months, and I was like, you know what, dude, we got to do this now, or chances are it might not happen. So I put my foot in the door and I'm like, hey, dude, record it, and it happened.
All right. When you did you write the songs on the EP after you came into the band, or was it something that they had and you just added your lyrics?
They had a majority of the songs already solidly down, and I just came in, listened to it, for sometimes it's hard for me to write lyrics, so I would sit in, they would ask me to sing a little bit, and I would just sing random words, and they said it sounded good, so I would go from there. I would just listen to the songs over and over and just eventually just write to them.
And how did the demo process go for the tracks when you were writing? Did they have like a little studio setup that they recorded, or like a Line 6 pod or something like that?
Oh, our lead guitar player Ethan, he already had most of his guitar parts recorded on his laptop. So I went off of that. I would listen to it over and over and just wrote from there, because he had before we had gotten our drummer, he had recorded all his guitars on his computer and filled in electric drums.
Oh,
so
nice.
It was like a rough draft of each track that I wrote too.
Did they change when you came in? Yeah,
a little bit, because our drummer was a lot more skilled in the computer, and so that helped to change. And yeah, my singing style definitely helped. Like certain parts had to be slowed down or sped up to, fulfill my singing needs, I guess.
Yeah, I noticed that. I don't know if you were going for it, but I was listening to one of your songs. I believe it was Deal with the Devil or Doomsday, and I immediately thought Mark Hunter from Chimera. I don't know if that was like intentional, but that's the I guess tonality of your voice that I heard.
I think what it is I've been practicing screaming for a long time now, and I try to use different influences of screaming, all high pitched, lower pitched. In Doomsday, it's like a faster paced rap kind of scream, and I like to change it up every time, so it's it doesn't get too tedious and repetitive for me.
Yeah. Do you guys sit down and actually figure out which parts? I know there's singing in a few of the songs, and there's female lead vocals. Do you sit down and figure out which parts go to which singer, or is it a natural thing where you're like, I kind of feel this?
In the writing process, because I didn't write the lyrics around them. I took the tracks home and wrote them by myself, because for some reason it's just easier to write that way.
Yeah.
But as I was writing them, I found myself singing certain lines instead of screaming them. And I was like, oh, that'd be perfect for Callie, or that'd be perfect for Ethan. And I just in my mind had their voices already figured out. So it was easier to write them that way, because I could write a line for them, and I'd be like, oh, that'd be perfect if this person sang this part, because I know how the pitch the song's going and the rhythm and the way it would just be sung and things like that.
Was it? Did you have to talk to them or talk them into singing and adding those parts?
Well, no, because Kelly had previous singing background from her old bands, and Ethan did too.
Oh,
so
nice.
I figured it'd be just easy to write them in. I didn't want to just me all the time, because for screaming for a whole 4 or 5 minutes straight kind of gets tiresome. So I'm like, hey, give me a breather, let me drink some water. You guys sing these parts.
Nice. And when you guys practice for shows or just not allowing rest to set in, do you guys practice as you would in a show, or do you guys kind of take it easy?
Well, a lot of them sometimes like to take it easier. Some of them just like to go all. I guess it just depends on how we feel the day. If we're feel like we're having a really good jam session, we're everything is like going flawlessly, then yeah, we get a little out of control and we get a little crazy and sweaty. We practice in like a little small garage, so it gets very hot. But
Yeah.
once you're in the music and you feel the jazz, you really don't care. You just kind of get into it. But yeah, sometimes we do practice our on-stage performance and how we'll start the songs and how like we'll go into them and stuff like that.
Do you guys practice? Do you guys jam before, kind of like to warm up as a band, just kind of go wherever the wind takes you?
Yeah. Most of the time before every practice, or before we actually practice or during, we'll take like a 5-minute break. And with our band, when we take our 5-minute breaks, nobody really takes a break because everybody like just starts playing like whatever pops into their head, and that sometimes helps us make new songs and stuff like that because we just jam out. Like we take a break when nobody wants to, so we just continue to play whatever comes into our head.
Yeah, I've been there, man. When I was in a band, a couple would actually take a smoke break, but me and the guitarist would always jam, and we had songs, so many songs.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I got distracted. So yeah, so in the practices, do you write during the practices, or do you guys all do that individually?
Most of the time we do it individually. Our guitar player, he kind of writes guitar parts alone, and we're all okay with that because it's creative, it's the way he creates, you know.
Yeah.
So we kind of just go with the flow.
So he writes them and brings them to the jam space and is like, "Here, I have a chorus or a verse." Or does he have full songs when he brings them in?
Like, well, he'll have a general outline of a song. Like, he'll play like a couple of riffs, and he's like, "Oh, I came up with this new riff," and then we'll start jamming to it, and then he'll just create something different. And I'll ask him, like, "Hey, was that the whole song or whatever?" He's like, "Oh no, the first part was the first the intro and the verse, but the rest of it I just made up." I was like, "Oh, that doesn't really help, but it sounded cool, so guess you can't be mad at that."
That's actually really cool. And then do you guys record it, and then each of you take your own parts or the song and create your own parts, or do you jam on it?
We just been jamming them lately. The only time we did it, like the recording thing, was because Ethan had been working on this song for a while.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us just kind of came in and did our part to it. So now we just write together, but like he'll write a part, and then we'll just do our best to help him finish it. So I mean, it's like after the EP, like all of the songs we write now is pretty much just a team effort and getting them put together as solidly as possible.
Nice. That's really good to hear. All right, so it says that you guys are out of Madera. Are all of you from Madera, or are you guys scattered around like the Fresno area?
Oh no, at the time, Ethan started the band page because it was his band like that he started, and he lives in Madera. The rest of us live here in Fresno, but when he did it, he's from Madera, but we're based out of Fresno.
Oh, okay.
So like sometimes it'll read like Fresno/Madera. And like the /Madera is to Ethan, pretty much.
So you being in the Fresno metal scene, how is it up there? I'm from Tulare, and there's so many people that complain about how the music scene is down here. Is it okay up there? I mean, I know a few of the venues have gone under.
It's not easy because like. It's hard to find shows really because like it's not really like as huge as it was, but like it's just something that we love, so we refuse to like stop. And any show opportunity we get, like we jump on it because I mean we love playing the music, and we just pretty much got to get to know other bands like us as we play along, so it gets us more contacts, and we're able to call them and they're able to call us and see if we want to play with them or if they want to play with us, and it's just all back and forth. So like it's all brotherly love in the metal scene, but you know it takes time because it's not as popular as it used to be.
Well, do you when you're trying to book shows, do you actually kind of hit a wall with people that aren't booking the hardcore, melodic hardcore kind of music?
Yeah, it gets difficult all the time because the only time we're ever hit up is when promoters want to do the shows. It's really a pain to try to convince them or ask them if they would like to help put on a show. Like, cause like me personally, I love playing shows all the time, so I constantly want to put on shows.
Yeah.
So it's just hard finding the right person to want to do it to help, because you get in order to put on shows around here, you have to have a name for yourself, and like a lot of places don't just let band members put on shows. You need a promoter and you need somebody with the know-how in the business sense as like a background like check kind of thing, you know, a reference.
Yeah, that I've actually seen through my doing these interviews, I've seen it's a common theme that some bands are actually pigeonholed because they are a certain style of music. Promoters don't latch on to that kind of music right now. And it's really difficult for bands to actually get shows because of that.
That's not always the case. I mean, like sometimes there's promoters that'll book like different genre bands, and just to make the show better, because like a lot of promoters know that sometimes it gets kind of like old quickly to have like all the same genre bands, and I played shows with like reggae bands, like country bands. I played shows with them all, and we don't mind as long as, you know, like nobody minds us, you know.
Yeah.
So it's all just like, hey, let's just all just have fun, because that's all the show is, just having fun with each other, and, you know, everybody, you know, getting their piece of the pie, you know.
Yeah, that's cool to hear. You don't see that very often here in Tulare and Visalia. It's mostly the genre-specific shows, and it gets really tedious after a while.
Yeah, it gets pretty hard, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So, I got a question that's not really the whole band thing. Well, it is. I was looking up the information to take notes for you guys, and I saw pictures, promo pictures of you guys, and you had like the doctor masks on with your logo. What is the story behind that? That's really interesting, and I was really wondering what's going on with that.
We started off with the doctor's mask because we wanted to be like, well, we're an armed assailant, so we have to be dark and mysterious. That's why we try to build the whole hood thing for a while.
Yeah.
But the whole heat came along and messed that all up. So
yeah.
We had to figure out something else. But at first we were doing the mask thing, and we played our one of our shows, and we wore our masks on stage and stuff. And afterward, a couple of fans thought, you know, it was really cool that we did that, because not a lot of Fresno bands or bands lately have been doing things like that. Well, from around here anyways.
Yeah.
And they thought it was really cool, and I was like, you know what, here, you can have mine. And we had a couple extra ones, and we just started giving them out. And the next show we played, a couple of the fans that we had given them to had showed up to the show wearing them, which I thought was like amazingly awesome.
Nice, man.
But yeah, we just did it because we all wore them because as one, we are an armed assailant.
Yeah.
And it's just a way to, like, you know, let people know that, you know, no one's like special. We're all one. We're all just a band that, you know, just loves playing with each other. And we just also we just thought it was really damn cool.
Well, how did you make them? Was it like a spray paint kind of thing with a stencil, or did you like single like Sharpie? Or
Oh yeah, it was like a spray paint and like a white kind of pen thing that my guitar players had made. Like they both made them together.
Nice.
Like Kelly had gotten them from her source, and then they just painted them and gave them to us. So I was like, heck yeah, I could able to do this.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, now we're rocking bandanas, which is they're easier to put on and they're easier to breathe through. So we're getting right now we're just rocking the black ones. Well, we have to order some with our logo on it, so it's just so we can wear them and stuff like that, because we wear them sometimes, but sometimes it just gets way too hot.
So where are you getting them? Is there a specific place that you're going through to get these bandanas?
Right now we're just ordering the straight black ones offline. Wherever Kelly finds them, she's been getting them because she likes to support the band in any way, shape, or form. So she's been real awesome on doing that because she's really for the cause, you know.
Yeah, I got you.
So she's just been ordering them online, and we paint them ourselves and just stuff like that.
And they're just solid black, and you paint your logo on it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I really like that. I'm really for the do-it-yourself musician kind of thing. You guys are really awesome in that.
Yeah, it's so we just love what we do so much that pretty much we all stick together. We don't let anybody carry too much weight, but sometimes when they want to take the lead and take the reins, we're not gonna say no.
Yeah. All right, man. Can you tell me about the song "In Shining Lights," please?
Oh, In Shining Lights, that's like one of my personal favorite songs because growing up, my grandmother, she pretty much like raised me like when my mom was busy a lot. And she pretty much told me all the time that, you know what, if you put your mind to anything, you can accomplish anything. And I really took a hold of that. And she said if I wanted to play music, I could. And all I got to do is just not give up and keep on trying. So I pretty much wrote that song about how, like, well, not about her, but how, like, well, the first line is, I spent my whole childhood dreaming, playing our guitar, lip sync singing, because it was true. Because most of the time I'd, just be in my room, screaming my head off to any like band that was hip to me at the time, and with a broom in my hand, just playing it like a guitar and just going crazy. And it was just that's what I wrote about. Because I didn't have nothing. We're a pretty poor family, and we just kind of did what we did, and I would get music anywhere I could and just go crazy. And it was all about just, fulfilling the dream, just sticking in it, never giving up, and you'll eventually just push anything you put your mind to.
Yeah, man, I started on pots and pans before I ever got drums, and my grandmother told me the same thing. Grandmothers are awesome like that, so congratulations for having one, man. That's awesome. All right, this is In Shining Lights.
Metal and
All right, man. So, I read on the internet on Facebook that you guys are having your year anniversary come up. What's that entail, and how does it feel to be in a band for 1 year and do so much that you have?
Quite the accomplishment for me because like it's been a solid like full year, like no breakups, no breaks, no nothing. We just constantly been writing, constantly playing, and for me and for my band, I feel it's a giant accomplishment for us because I mean, a whole lot of bands don't do it all the time, you know. It just happens. But yeah, it's gonna be great. I mean, it's our full year together. We released an EP. We did all kinds of things we didn't think we were going to do so quickly. It's just, you know, dedication and time and just pushing it as hard as we could that we deserve something like this. And it's going to be great. Like, I got, like, friends of mine from other bands that are going to play. And it's going to be like a house show type of thing. It's just going to be great. It's going to be just going to have fun.
So there is going to be a celebration, like a huge celebration for you guys?
Yes.
Awesome. Congratulations, man. I'm happy for you guys. So there's been no breakups or anything like that. There's been no member changes. Like, how do you guys function as a band? I know everybody has little scuffles here and there, but how do you guys function as a band?
We function pretty well. Like we all get along like really, really well. We all like the same kind of things, the same kind of music. So everybody just gets along. Like you can tell each other's jokes. You can like sit there for hours at practice, you know, just talking about whatever just comes up. And like everybody in the band has jobs, so like they like get busy from time to time. So when we see each other, it's like constantly like a reunion. We're like, hey, how you doing? You know, how was your week? And things like that.
Nice.
So like you get along perfect. Like that's why I love this band so much, and like that's why I think like our relationship is like grown so strong and grown so solid into like being this whole entire year.
Nice, man. So being that it is the year anniversary, what are your plans for the future of the band? Have you guys talked about that? Is there a record going to be coming out soon, or studio time or something like that?
Oh yeah, we've been talking about it here and there about certain things that we want to do, and we want to plan a tour for sometime in mid-August. That's the goal right now. We want to get on the road. We want other towns, you know, other people to hear our stuff as much as possible.
Nice.
So that's in the works, and hopefully by the end of this year or the beginning of next year, we're able to put out a full album. So that's what we're aiming for right now. We're just constantly writing and in between playing as much as we can. So.
How many songs do you guys have right now?
On the EP, there's 5, but we currently have 7.5. The number 8 is coming.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. All right. So the road. When you guys talk about tour, do you mean different states or do you mean up and down California?
Right now we're starting small with up and down California. We want to get a feel for, you know, our home state before we like branch out. We want to see how people, you know, from different towns and different cities get a feel for what we do, and just from there on, just more up and down, and then maybe eventually bleed out into like another state or something. See how they like it, just to see how people dig it.
So you guys have only played around Fresno. Have you played in any other towns?
No, not as of yet. We've been basically Fresno based for the year, okay. But we're trying. It's just we just have to start meeting the right people by playing. Like a lot of bands come in from out of town, and that's where we're trying to get our foot in the cities. We've played as many shows with out of city bands just so we can, you know, put our foot in that door as well.
Nice, man. So with the record, are you thinking about recording with the gentleman that you recorded your EP with, or are you gonna go to like a full-fledged studio with that?
It's up in the air right now. I'm trying to get us into a studio, on a, you know, as hard as I can, like with the label and things like that. But if not, then yeah, probably our same guy, because he enjoys our music and we enjoy having them recorded. So it's all fun. You know, the recording process was fun and very, very easy and comfortable. So it made writing the songs and recording them like it's very simple. And we just had a good time doing it. So I mean, if the whole like another recording guy falls through, then we still got our guy. So we're happy to record with them.
All right, man. I'm sorry, I lost my spot here. I can cut this out. All right, so your major influences coming up as a kid, have they bled through into your music yet, or are you still being a conglomeration of everything?
Yeah, they have. I think they have definitely, because like I've listened to like different music growing up. Like for the longest time, I listened to like Slipknot just for days and days and days, and just try to like get my voice to sound like his as much as possible. And then I'll start listening to like other bands like Atreyu and like Bullet for Valentine. And I was just doing my best to try my best to sound like them, because it was fun. I enjoyed listening to it, and a lot of people, when I sing certain songs or sing a certain way that I do, a lot of people say that I sound like these bands. And I'm happy because I put a lot of work into doing that. Nice. And I don't mean to sound just like him, but I just put in a lot of work to get my voice to sound good. And the fact that it's kind of recognizable as something that they know and that they like, then it makes me happy. So yeah, it bleeds into it sometimes, and to me it's a good thing because people enjoy it, and so do I.
Yeah, the thing is, every time I play the drums, I play with the groove, and I learned the groove from Vinnie Paul and Pantera. So, your influences will constantly bleed through. It's just depending on how you let it bleed through that really impacts the songs. So you said Slipknot. Have you heard their new album?
The new one.
0.5.
All is Gone? Oh no, 5. No, I haven't heard it all the way through as of yet. I've been kind of like just lazy on it. I'm still like on the olden days, so like I want to like ease into it slowly. So I'll listen to a newer song every now and again.
Well, me and my wife, we both bought a copy each because she refused to allow me to have her copy or access to it. And
nice.
So we listened to it. I think it's one of the best. It's my favorite Slipknot album. By far, because it's brutal and then it's really sad at points.
Yeah,
and,
I can see that.
The great part about it is we saw them at Knotfest this past year, and we got to see them 2 nights in a row. Firstly, the amazing part was there were only like 2 or 3 songs they repeated in the 2 nights, and yeah, they blew me away, man. I had been on the fence about Slipknot for years, and after the CD, I'm just like, yeah. They're a damn good band. One of the best CDs that came out in 2014 by far.
Yeah, they're just an amazing band.
So what is it about Slipknot and Bullet for My Valentine and Atreyu that attracted you to that kind of music?
I don't know. I think it was growing up. I wasn't allowed to, pretty much. I was told that it was ungodly devil music. So any typical story of an angsty teen is to do whatever your parents and family members tell you not to do. And I just used to listen to it out of just spite, I guess. But and after actually listening to the guitars and drums and then the vocals, everything just fell into place on its own. Like all I needed to do was just understand the song a little bit better, get a better feel of what it was about and what it stood for. And it just made it easier and easier to fall in love with.
Yeah, man. Metal's really easy to fall in love with once you understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about it. Can you tell me about the song Deal with the Devil?
Deal with the Devil. Can we get it?
Brian remind me?
Yeah, he's the drummer. Sorry about that. Deal with the Devil, yes. Deal with the Devil is, it was weird. When I wrote that song, I had this, political, feel in my head. So it felt like, for some reason, I listened to the song and I just started writing, and that's what came out of it after I just could not stop writing. And it ended up being, our dependency on, government and welfare and things like that. And it's weird because I'm not on welfare and, I don't have any problems with that, but it just kind of came out that way. And I tell my band all the time that I that I want to rewrite the words because I know no like political anything. And they're like, no, let's do it. I was like, okay. like I've had people hear it though and tell me like they understand what I'm saying and they get it. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you do because I am lost. And I wrote it.
That's awesome. This is Deal with the Devil. And how you doing? Are you still there with me?
Yeah, I'm here, dude. I'm just
All right, brother. All right, man. So, you played shows for the past year. I know there's been numerous shows that you've played. Is there one that sticks out in your head as one that was just incredible, or one that you thought was going to be a little bit of a wreck, but turned out to be one of the better ones?
Yeah, there's definitely my favorite one. We played Escape the Fate at James C. Fresno not too long ago, and I don't know, like the rest of the band was like nervous and things like that, and I was like, oh, I mean, let's do this and shake off some jitters, man, because we're gonna have to put on one really good show. We're opening up for Escape the Fate, and it was amazing because like there was like tons of people there, like tons, like biggest crowd we've ever played for.
Nice.
So we set off the energy, and like it was just like I had more energy in me than I had like ever. Like it was amazing because I just fed off the people. Like the people were amazing, very like receptive to what we played, and they just gave us such good vibe that it made us put on a better show. And I think that one just have to be my favorite one of all time. Well, for the time being, until like the next nice one comes along.
Have you ever actually experienced anything like weird or like something you can't make up in the music? Like a fan giving you something or anything like that?
Not that I remember. I remember these chicks were extremely intoxicated, and they asked us for our autograph, and I was like, hey, cool, like my first autograph, I will sign this for you, and you will love it because it's awesome. And I guess she was extremely intoxicated because she thought we were completely somebody else. And I had to stand there for a good, solid half an hour and explain to her that I wasn't who she thought I was. And then she was like, oh, wait, no, you were the first band. I was like, yes, that's what I've been trying to tell you. And she's like, oh, yeah, you guys are cool, too. Can I get your autograph? And I was like, well, you're in luck because you already have it. And I think that would be, like, random moment right there.
That is awesome, man. That is greatness. All right, so have you ever had any I'm sorry, that's not the question I want to go for. What gets you going on stage? Is it the pit or the crowd reaction, or like do you want like a circle pit or a mosh pit when you're playing? Is there anything specific that just gets you like riled up and ready to go?
People like looking at it, like nodding their head, like I like to look at people in the crowd and see them like just thoroughly enjoying it. Like they don't like have to move, but them moving also does pump me up like a great deal. But just the fact that they're staring at it, like looking deep into my eyes as I stare at them, as I look back at them and just thoroughly enjoying it, is what gets me going because like it starts getting my heart pumping and instead of letting the increased like adrenaline or let my heart pump so much to where I get nervous, like I start to move and then my adrenaline kicks in and then I just start getting wild and crazy and excited and it's like a give or take kind of thing sometimes because sometimes I'll just get like super nervous and I'll just freeze and I'll stand there but I'll still be singing and I won't be moving or nothing. But if I take it in a complete different direction where I see them like thoroughly enjoying it, then it gets me pumped and I don't let the fear kick in. I let the the excitement and the adrenaline just like, hey, if you're like taking the time to like stand there and pay attention to my band and just like understand my actions, and I'm gonna do my best to like make sure that your first time or your second time or your third time singing that it's a good time every time.
Nice. Are there any venues that actually what is your favorite venue you've played so far?
I think my favorite venue so far would have to be Strummers here in Fresno. They got a great stage, great sound people, and it's just always like hospitable and just a great time every time because they make sure that you're 100% comfortable of how your stage feels, like how you feel on stage, like if you can hear, and it's just a really good feeling because they care about their artists, and I just like places that like really care about how like you feel while you're on stage, and it's really cool because they don't like try to over spoil you. They just make sure that you can hear yourself and the crowd can hear you, and that it sounds good and that you're comfortable with it, and it's just that kind of thing, the small things like that is what makes me like love certain places to play and things like that.
Yeah, man. I actually played Strummers, but that was back in the day when it was called Starline.
Starline, yeah.
Yes.
I loved it then too.
Yeah, it was a really good stage. The only problem I had was the drum riser was so small that my china fell off and hit the ground in the middle of a song. So
That's weird because that has happened to like a lot of bands that I've seen, and it even happened to my drummer at least once.
yeah, it's a big loud crash that's not supposed to be there in the middle of your song, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man, yeah. I love that. And this past year, we actually went to go see Machine Head when they showed up and played there. Nice. And we saw Chase the Magic Dragon, Anti-Mortem, and Machine Head, and it was a really good time, man. It was a nice little show. Me and my wife were up front, and it was I just remembered how much I loved that venue. That venue is a badass venue.
Mm-hmm.
So, are there any shows for you in the works? Anything in the pipeline that you can talk about?
Oh yeah, we got a couple CYC shows coming up, Chinatown Youth Center. We have one on the 11th of April and one on the 18th of April, and it's really cool because like we're the kind of band that like when somebody asks, hey, like would you guys be willing to play, you know, and the chances are we probably won't get paid, and we're like, you know what, like we love playing so much that like we'll do it, but we're kind of reluctant at times because like, well, we're not getting paid, but you know what, like when we say like yeah, and like they know that they can count on us, like that's a good feeling, because when you have people that can like they know that they can rely on you, like damn, I need a band, and they're like, oh well, these guys will play, and like it's a good feeling to know that they can call us, you know, and maybe eventually if we do this enough, you know, because everybody got to pay their dues. Yeah. Everybody's got to work hard, and you know, just one day, like it'll happen, you know. Yeah. So I mean, so we're just paying our dues right now, playing as many shows as we can, and we're being there for people when they need us. And sometimes we return the favor, like whenever we can. Like our year anniversary show, we played a show with this band called Vocalist once, and we remembered how good they were, and we were like, well, dang, they were really good. And I hit them up, and I'm like, hey, you guys want to play with us? Trying to celebrate our year. And they're like, yeah, geez, for sure. You guys were like super tight. You know, we want to play with you guys. And I was like, sweet. You know, like I'll put you on the bill. You know, but just being, you know, being there for each other. It's like it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
just,
man.
You know,
I can see that. And back in the day, you know, I had a few bands from Fresno. When I saw that we were on the bill with them, I almost jumped up in joy. Are there any bands that you've played with that are like, oh, dude, they're on the show, I am definitely just it's gonna be a ball?
Yes. There was this band from Visalia, Your Hero is a Villain, and we played a show with them one time, and they were just amazing. Like watching them was amazing, and we became like friends, you know, with each other, stuff like that. We'd play a show, we'd be like, hey, you guys want to play with us? And they'd say, yeah. And they'd play a show, and they'd be like, hey, we need a band. I'm like, hey, we're down, you know, because just playing with them, it's like extremely fun. And every single time, like, I find out that there's an opportunity to play with them, I'm like, yes, we'll play, because they're just amazing to watch. They were full of energy, you know. I think they might be disbanded now, but they were like one of my top bands that whenever I saw that they were on a bill, I was like, yes. Either I'm going to play that show or I'm going to go to it, because these guys are just amazing. So I would have to say them.
Yeah, funny enough, the bands that I would do that with were from Fresno. There was a band of guys named Approaching Darkness, and then a band called Hate FX. And anytime we were on the bill with them, I was like, dude, this is going to be a party. I don't care what anybody says. We're going to tear it up, and then afterwards we're going to have some fun with our friends, you know?
Yeah.
And that kind of summed up my whole musical career up until I quit the bands in 2010, and it was amazing, man.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling.
So back to the whole show thing. Do you guys have merch that you sell at the shows, or do you just peddle your CDs?
Right now we're working on that. When we had first recorded the EP, we had plans to get them cased up and things like that, but just certain things came up, like bills and things like that. So we haven't had the opportunity to mass produce them. So right now we're just working with just CDs with nothing on them, that we sometimes give out. and
Yeah.
we're working on like merch. Like we want to like we're trying to figure out like what styles we're gonna use and like things like that first before we actually do it. And but it's all in the progress. Like right now, like I said, we've been playing shows and we haven't really getting paid for them. But once we start getting paid for shows, or even once like the bills aren't an issue anymore,
Yeah.
then we're gonna start like coming out with like a lot of merch and stuff like that. And right now, the music's like you can listen to it online and stuff like that. But yeah, sooner or later we want to have an actual CD with like us on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
It's in the work right now.
Oh yeah, the merch thing. I've been fortunate enough to design merch for a long time. None of the bands actually had the money to finance it, but I've designed it. That's one of the most fun things and most creative things that I've ever been able to be a part of in music, other than writing music. It's such a fun time. Have you guys actually gone through designs and things like that?
Right now we're working on we're like we tried ourselves to design a couple of things, and they're cool and all, like we like them, but we want to like come up with like a good amount of ideas, like just like scratch like ideas, and maybe eventually get a designer to take our ideas and make them something great. So right now we're in this rough draft phase of our logos and things like that, imagery and things like that. So right now we're just getting our rough drafts in, so like it's like our ideas but made better, I guess.
Yeah, I got you, man. It's like I said, it's a fun process, and especially it's an extension of your music. It's just really fun to put images to what you're trying to promote with your music. I really dig
Yeah,
that.
we're just trying to find the right idea. Like with the name like Armed Assailant, like we're not limited, but we have a general like idea of what we want our Armed Assailant to look like. So
Yeah, I got you.
we're yeah.
So I was meaning to ask you this in the beginning, but where'd you guys get the name Armed Assailant? And what does it mean? What does it mean to you guys?
That's a very good question. Armed Assailant. Our guitar player Ethan, he had come up with the name because previously, before Armed Assailant, me and Kelly, we were in a band called The Thought of Yesterday, and our bass player was in it too. And we had kind of like broke up for a little bit because our drummer quit, and we were going to try to continue to do that. And like maybe a month or two before our drummer quit, we had gotten Ethan to play guitar with us as well. And the band broke up, so it wasn't really like a connection yet. But Kelly and Ethan stuck together, and they kept on playing music, and they were going to keep it out of yesterday, but it was a completely different sound and a different feel. So he came up with the name, and she liked it, and they agreed upon it. And I thought it was a pretty good name too. And I don't know if I can speak for them when they say it, but or about the band name. But to me, like Armed Assailant is like at first I wanted to be like, hey, shouldn't we put an S at the end? Because there's more than one of us. We're Armed Assailant.
Yeah.
And Kelly proved a very good point. She was like, no, because as one, we are an Armed Assailant. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense, because, I mean, we all have, our weapons of choice, me being a microphone, Kelly guitar, things like that.
Yeah.
And I think instead of, like, individually, like, it meaning different things, it's just as one, we are an Armed Assailant because, we're fighting, we're just fighting to, stay up and stay out there, just giving our all, just taking over the world one show at a time.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So can you tell me about the song Doomsday?
Doomsday, yes. Doomsday, I like this band called Coheed and Cambria. I'm sure everybody knows about. But I have like a very like mass like fascination with them. I love that band, and I love the way he can storytell, the way he does. And when Ethan has showed me this song, and I was like, okay, and I was listening to it, and I could not write anything. And I was like, well, I wonder what would happen if like I told a story like like Claudio does in Coheed and Cambria. And I was like, okay, so let me try this kind of feel. And I was thinking of different stories and just different things, and this one just stuck out to me and popped in my head, and it was I made it up about this it's about a girl who was pretty much dealt every single crappy hand in life.
Okay.
And she had nothing. She was left with nothing, and she was all alone. Just abused, just things like that, and just had crappy life. It was a really bad life. And it's about a higher being telling her, that he apologizes for the life that she was dealt, that he is sorry that he could not, give her something better, that he just could not do it, and that and she's on the brink of ending her life, and he pretty much is telling her that once you end your life, because it's going to happen, it's inevitable, she just will not refuse. She refuses to think otherwise, that when she passes away, that she can have his job when she gets to this higher place, and that so she can make sure that nobody's ever dealt a hand like the one she was dealt.
Oh, nice.
Just to make sure that nobody ever has to feel the way she felt in her life. So it's weird, but that's what came out when I wrote it.
Nice. This is Doomsday. All right, man. So it's been almost an hour that we've been talking and everything. Your band is actually, I really like the sound. I don't know. I don't know if this is an insult, and I please try not to take it as one. But your demo has this local band sound that I've come to know and love and just appreciate. Do you kind of hear that, or am I just kind of off?
No, I believe it does because I mean, well, I mean, Fresno's my hometown. I born, raised here all my life, and it's kind of like proud. I'm kind of proud that it kind of like sounds like a local sound because I mean, that's what we are right now, you know. And I want when we eventually get to the point where we're heading out there on the road like that, and I want and people dig it, you know, and they start to like it. And they asked where you know where we're from, and I'm proud to say that you know we are Armed Assailant from Fresno, California, because that's where we're from, and I love it because I'm proud of my town. I'm proud of where I'm from. So I mean, the fact that you know it sounds like a local, like oh you know, it's like the local series, like oh okay you know Fresno bands, okay cool. But when we're out there and people like us in a different city, then you know, I'm proud to say that yes, we're from Fresno, California, and stuff like that. I mean, it's just an amazing feeling seeing like you know, not just because we're in Fresno and just because like the scene's been going downhill a little bit or whatever people may say, you know, like I'm proud to say that you know what that we're still trying and we're still like doing our best to keep it alive because it's like it inspires me to keep on writing and I hope that you know sometimes it inspires like other bands to keep on going, keep on making bands and keep on playing music because music is fun, music is like beautiful and people need to hear it and people need to like play it all the time because it's just fun, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think music is one of those basic needs we all have. And I don't know about you, but if I don't play music for a while, my whole world starts to become dark and kind of
Yeah.
fade out, and it just becomes a very bad place I don't want to be in. But when I play it, you know, music kind of takes me away and lets me. Music is the equivalent for me as someone in, I guess, Zen mode or something like that.
hmm
It's nice. Do you have experiences like that to where you're like, okay, I just need to go into a room, put on my music, and just scream the hell out of my lungs? Even if, you know, I hurt myself for a minute or something, just I need to do this.
Oh yeah, all the time. Like when I feel like I'm like not myself, I sit down and I just put my earphones in and I just listen to like metal or my music sometimes even
Yeah.
just as loud as I possibly can until it starts to hurt a little bit and then I'm just like okay I'm feeling back to normal back to normal back to normal and then my day can start or then I can start feeling okay and I think that's my thing because like sometimes when it's just a crappy day like all I need is some metal real quick and just bam okay all right let's get this day started
Yeah, I
so
got
like
you, man.
yeah that's how I feel about that.
All right, so I want to ask you about your lyrics. You said that you have a hard time writing them sometimes. You also said sometimes they pour out. Last year I started writing my third record that I'm working on currently, and when I started writing, like the floodgates opened. And like there's no exaggeration. I have 80 sets of lyrics that just came
No.
out of nowhere, and they're about all these different things. Have you ever had one of those experiences where they just pour out of you like lyric after lyric after lyric, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. I don't want this to stop ever.
Yeah, there was a time period in my I was a little younger, a couple years back, and I had a journal that at first it started as like a journal, just you know, as my thoughts and my how my day went and things like that. And I kind of thought to myself like, what would happen if I decided to you know explain my day in music form, you know, like poetry form, to where I could sing about it or like I could write about it, and that's how it went for a while. Like I'd write about like how I was feeling, or how my day went, or how like just watching other people and how they like looked like they felt, or how they looked like their day was going, and just constantly writing all the time, just writing and writing and writing. Sometimes I wouldn't be able to finish a song, but I would write a piece of it, and then the next day I'd write a different piece, and somehow, some way, it would fit together. So I would
Wow.
make that one song, and it would just go like that for the longest time, and I kind of lost track of that because the book was misplaced, and, which was pretty depressing to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I used to write. I used to write that. Now I just like I'm in like the writer block stage, but
Oh.
I somehow, some way are able to get lyrics out still, but
Yeah.
I just don't write like I used to.
Yeah, man. I'm a drummer by trade. I've always been a drummer, and it wasn't until about 2012 that I started playing other instruments. I had done song lyrics, but that was just to show people that I could do it. And then I sat down and actually did it for me. And it was a very, very cathartic kind of feeling and really fun. And it was very nice to get all these emotions and things that I wanted to say out. But for me, there's times where I can't write a damn thing. Nothing comes out. And then there's times like this past year where just everything pours out. And I kind of feel like, you know, okay, I've been bled dry. I need to save up a little bit before I do this again. Do you have that scenario? Do you think that's where you're at right now, or is it just sometimes you have a hard time putting two rhymes together?
Well, there's the times where I can't like put two things together, but I usually rough draft my lyrics. Like I'll write them all down and I'll practice and sometimes I'll find like a little funky line where I'm just like, okay, well, that doesn't fit. What if I change this? And then sometimes that won't fit, and I'll change it back. And then I'll change it to something else, and then I'll change it back. And it's like, it's constantly like that every time I write. I'm like, okay, well, that word is awesome, but it doesn't fit, okay? And then I'll just completely rewrite that whole entire verse and then put that, like, the actual word that I want in there. So, because I want the word in there. So I'll write it to where it fits regardless. But sometimes, yeah, it does get pretty hard.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
that's actually a thing that I've been doing too. That's really cool you brought that up. It wasn't until this past year that I started editing my lyrics. I'd write them and forget them and have the singer I was working with sing what I had. And yeah, this year I started sitting down on my own. I mean, I don't know how to sing very well, but I can get the idea across. And I edited the crap out of my lyrics, and it's very, very nice that you're able to do that. Sorry, I forgot to finish that line. But yeah, you're editing. That's really cool. Do you have lyrics that you haven't had to edit yet?
Yeah. When I'm alone, I play guitar sometimes, and I'll write like lyrics to it and stuff like that, and like I kind of like write them, and then like I'll end up getting busy, and I'll end up writing a new song or stuff like that, or like when I write Armed Assailant, sometimes I'll write some lyrics and somehow I'll get distracted and write a whole other song, and I'm like, well, man, those lyrics were good, but they're like nowhere near done, and I'm just like, oh man. So like, yeah, there's a lot of songs out there that I have that are like not completed and need a whole lot of editing, but like I just haven't got around to it yet. But eventually, maybe, hopefully, depending on like what the next song sounds like. If it's like in need for like a different kind of vocals, maybe I'll like just find myself like, oh, I have some great ones. You know, I just gotta look them up and see how they fit, I guess.
Nice, man. All right, man. Well, this will be my last question for you, and then we can wrap up. If you were able to like pick a soundtrack for your life, at least, or a day, or your soundtrack for a day, what would be the songs that you wake up to, that you go about your day to, and eventually go to sleep to?
Ooh, that is a good question. The song, that's a good one. It's been so long since I actually like thought of that. I usually just put on like whatever, but I think it's like I had to really think about it. Like I would like put on like some like a Trey, maybe like the Crimson or something. Nice. And I don't know why I would pick that song, but that song just makes me like feel good for some reason. And it's not like really a naturally good song. It's like a pretty like much like a Y kind of song, and it just fills me like up. Like it makes me ready for the day, because it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, you know, there's problems. Everybody got their problems, you know, girl problems, you know, whatever. But that song just makes me like, okay, I'm gonna kick this day's butt. Let's do this. And for some reason, that song just it's very enjoyable for me to wake up to and to get up and be like, all right, play, let's do this.
Nice.
But yeah, it's very random, but yeah, I'd probably have to pick that one for the day, anyway.
It's cool,
For the
man.
start of the day. So.
I saw Atreyu, one of their first shows back at Knotfest, and they were all right, man. I can't say they were the best on there because there were a couple bands that just blew me away, but they were really good to watch and really, really fun. I hadn't seen them in a couple years, so it was really cool. Are there songs that you would wake up to, start your day to, or go to sleep to?
I can't for spacing completely that I cannot think of any. But I know there's like a lot of metal that I used to like that too. And just because like it was easier that way, like one of my I used to set alarm clocks, you know, for waking up and things like that. And a lot of the songs that I would pick would be Slipknot songs.
Oh, nice.
Because it was they would wake me up because I would wake up singing the words.
Oh,
like
nice.
I would wake up, like I would be like in my head, I'm like, oh, singing the words, and then I'd wake up and be singing them, and I'd wake up to it. It's like,
yeah, that's
time to wake up, time to start the day.
That's never a bad thing, man. Never at all.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you mine. To wake up, it'd have to be Determined by Mudvayne. I don't know if you've ever done it, but if you put on that song and you get ready for work, you're gonna mess up the day. You know, you're gonna make that day wish it was never born. Throughout the day, it'd probably be Walk by Pantera because, you know, it's just, you know, driving and groovy and fun.
Yeah.
And to go to sleep would probably be Planet Caravan by Pantera because it's just really, you know, soft and nice and beautiful, and you can just slip away to it. All right, so is there one that you would fall asleep to, or?
Yeah, I constantly still to this day fall asleep to Coding Cambria.
There you go, man.
There's just something about it that it doesn't put me to sleep. It just makes go to sleep like awesome.
Yeah,
it's okay. Not for bed.
Yeah, it puts you in a place where you feel comfortable enough to actually go to sleep.
Yeah, the only problem with that is I end up, like, I'll lay in bed with my eyes closed and I'll still be up for hours because I'm singing the words. And so I wake up pretty exhausted, but I fall asleep feeling great.
Hey, man, that's more power to you, man. That's the greatness about them. All right, so we've come to the end. I hope you've had fun. I have.
I did, yes, very much so.
So now I would like to ask you, where can people get a hold of you and find your wonderful music and possibly tell you how great you are?
Okay, cool. Right now we're mostly reachable on Facebook, www.facebook.com/armed.assailant.official. And yeah, we're mainly content as that, but for booking we do yahoo.com/armed.assailant. So if anybody wants to book us, hey. And all of our music is free to listen to on Reverb Nation, and to get to that is reverbnation.com/armed.assailant.official. And people can go and listen to it whenever they want. We even have a couple songs on there that are actually downloadable for them to keep forever. And,
I believe those are Doomsday and Shining Light, or In Shining Lights.
Yeah, I believe so too.
Yeah.
Like I picked my two favorites, and I was like, hey, other people can have it too, no problem. And
that's very kind of you.
Yeah. And we have an Instagram too, which is Instagram at armed_assailant, or just armed assailant, one word. And yeah, we like to keep it busy sometimes, like post just a bunch of weird photos. I'm mainly the editor on the pictures that go up there, so like I'll just release photos of like the band playing and like each individual person playing, and you know, just put all kinds of funky coloring in it and just make it look weird. But yeah, that's how they can see pictures of us, and you know, that's how they're able to get music and things like that. So.
All right, yeah. Man. Well, congratulations on a year.
Thank you.
Hope there's many more for you. And thank you very much for your time and calling me. It's been a blast. And
hey, thank you, man.
Well, we'll talk to you later, brother.
All right, man. You have a good one.
All right, later. And that was the show. We got through this, people. Eric and I survived this to live, to talk about it, to fight another day. it was really, really cool to be able to talk to Eric and to everybody I've talked to so far. It's nice to be able to talk to somebody about their artistic ventures because, one, you get to see who that person is because art is an expression of who somebody is, which is just amazing. Secondly, it's so nice to be able to talk to people about how they approach their art because that is also so very different from person to person, and it's a nice little thing. I mean, when you get writer's block, you can try a different way. There are so many ways to perform. There are so many ways to do these things. And I know of my way. That's it. And I'm slowly learning of other ways to do things, and it's freaking wonderful. And I'm so excited about implementing some of these ideas that I've gotten from these people just to see what will come out. Never ever has to see light of day. Just to see what will happen would be okay with enough for me. But that's my favorite part of these interviews. I really do enjoy them. And I enjoyed talking to Eric about the lyric writing because that was very, very inspiring and intriguing. And yeah, you don't really get to talk about that kind of stuff too often, especially in an hour-long conversation. Sometimes things get glazed over that have a tremendous impact on, the listener or the person that just needs a little bit of information. So that was really awesome. And don't forget, people, check these guys out. Honestly, they're amazing. Indie bands, local bands, unsigned bands, whatever you want to call these bands that I have on the show, they are amazing. They do everything themselves. They have to worry about their gas. They have to worry about getting the shows on time. They have to worry about scheduling, repairing their own instruments. Just every single detail of being in a band is on these guys and ladies, if there is a case. But they have to do it themselves, and that is one of the greatest things that you can do as a musician, and it's also one of the most frustrating things you can do as a musician. So support local music. It's not difficult. Go to a club, bang your head, say how great the set was. Like, it's not hard to do those things. Anyway, before I start rambling about this subject, which I can go on forever, I'd like to say thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. At current time, this show is 9. And so far there's been 9 episodes, and the reception has been way more than I thought it was. I want to thank each and every one of you, but I don't know if I can, so this will just have to do. Please remember to continue to rate, comment, subscribe, and add the Local Music Revolution at thelocalmusicrevolution.wordpress.com and facebook.com/thelocalmusicrevolution. Don't forget I'm on iTunes. You can find me on iTunes. All you have to do is search the podcast section of iTunes, and you will find me there waiting for you because I get lonely sometimes. I need somebody to talk to. Also, if you're a musician, an actor, a director, an artist, or somebody with similar talents, I would love to have you on the show. Love to talk to you about your art and your inspiration and all of those good things. All you have to do is email me at thelocalmusicrevolution@gmail.com, and we'll get the process started to have you on the show. Until next time, this is the Local Music Revolution. I am Ogre. You are all so very awesome. Thank you very much again. Take care, everyone, and be good.